welcome to this beautiful place. We love you all, whatever gender or race. The young and old, the small and tall. Some very awake, some others not at all. Come and move along with this band. Get up to your feet and lift your hands. Come on. You cannot move while sitting. There are the Unitarians and the atheists, some Murphy pagans and the universalists, the Gnostics, the deists and the humanists, the free spirit and the practicing Buddhists. But we all believe in human dignity, compassion, justice, and true equity. There are John and Chris on the mighty guitars. They're strong and big like some superstars. And John, the cool one, is walking the bass. And Farron is playing the piano with grace. And then there's Rick Sean that's smoking hard. His blues is groovy and so freaking smart.
Here you go.
Good morning. Did this get turned off? I don't know. Do I need to turn this on? Yeah, Christian doesn't need a mic, huh? There it is. Good morning. I'm Camille. My pronouns are she, her, and we are going to rock and roll through this service today. Hopefully it's more rolling than rocky. Welcome this morning. And the opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, comfort, and sometimes challenges. You use a place where we come to learn more about being human. We are not here because we figured out all of life's questions or because we think we've got it right. We come here to learn more about being in relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion for one another. Thank you for making that priority today. Thank you for taking the time to grow and be challenged today. Your presence and participation is a precious gift. Let us move into worship, willing to be authentic with each other, honest within ourselves, and opening to connection in all of its forms. Hopefully someone has control of the slides. Didn't check that. Oh, someone does. Thank you, whoever that is. Will you please join me now in saying the chalice lighting words on the screen? In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Thank you, Macy. Yeah. Okay, the opening song is 1017 and the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way. The words are on the screen.
Just gonna sound a little different.
Yeah. Follow the band.
Y'all are gonna be rock stars then.
Just to give credit to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Atlanta, their band did this version of the song, and so we're kind of copying them.
We need to move it back to slide one.
Back to slide one, please. Thank you.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Together, we are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. Working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free of hate and greed, jealousy. We are working to be free. Can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Instrumental. Now, until we cannot do it anymore.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
And again.
We are building a new way.
Are you moving? Are you
We
dancing?
are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
All right, now, you youngins, don't be shy. but you come on down, I've got a story to tell. So come on down here if you want. I haven't eaten any children for lunch yet, so I'm perfect, y'all are perfectly safe for you. A cool story. This one's called I Love My Hair. Yeah, give me. All right, how's that? Is that better? Anyway, all right, I'll try to make sure that's there. So, this is about a little girl named Emily. Still gonna do this even more. Said every day, every life is special. Every life is special. Every life is full of things to love. Some people might think that Emily's life is ordinary. They might think that her hair is ordinary, or curly, or too curly, or frizzy, but not Emily. Every morning, Emily gets up, looks in the mirror, and sings, "I love my hair." I bet her parents are interested in hearing her do that, yeah? So it's big and it's curly, and no one else has hair like me. Yeah? She's got pretty curly hair. Who's got curly hair in this bunch? Anybody got curly hair? Yeah. I remember I hated my hair when I was young because it was curly. I wanted straight hair. Of course, straight-haired people always wanted curly hair. So, and I love my eyes. They're big, they're round, and they see the whole world. No one else has eyes like mine. Yeah? You got eyes like that? Yeah? And I love my mom. She's nice, and she's funny. Last night she tucked me and said, "Guess how much I love you?" And no one else has a mom like me. You guys feel like that? Yeah? No one else has a mom like you. And I love my dad. He's strong and he's nice. He plays soccer with me and my friends. He makes me pancakes. And no one else has a dad like me. Is that a puppy over there? Kind of a hairy thing. I think it is a puppy. Yeah. And look who's on Dad's back. I think that's Emily. Emily's riding on Dad's back. You think? Yeah, the what? Like a horse. Yeah, she's riding a horse. That's right. So, I love my house. I love my room. I love my dog. It was a dog that was in that earlier page. I love my brother. You guys got sisters or brothers? Any of you all have sisters or brothers? Yeah? Do y'all love your sisters and brothers? That's very important. And no one else is just like me. And I love my teacher. That's stretching it a little bit, don't you? But not when he gives me homework. Doesn't love him when he gives me homework. But I do when it's a sunny day and we read books outside, and no one else has a teacher like me.
Oh, yes, they do.
Outside. That's when she really loves me. And I love my friends. We like to skip. We like to tell stories. And no one else has friends like me. And they even play dress up sometimes too. They trade dress up. Y'all play dress up any?
No.
Dress up? Maybe not like a.
Not everybody.
No, not to do that. Okay. And I love the mornings. Apparently she's a morning person. I'm not much of a morning person.
Me too.
But it's sunny and I'm happy and it's sunny outside right today and I can dance. And she loves to dance. It's what's got all the, and I love to dance. Oh, and I love to sing. And I can do anything. I can do anything. And I love everybody. I love everybody. And I love my life. She's outside in the swimming pool area, doing a bunch of stuff, doing handstands. Then Emily gets dressed and goes to school. All this happened before school. She got to thinking about all these things. And now she's going to school. And that's the end. What would you do? Got a mirror there so you can look at yourself and think about how great you guys are. All right? All right, let's sing our children to their service. I mean, it'll be an a cappella. It'll start out good. What's the first words of it?
Wander as you may, blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way.
During our meditation, if you're so led to come up and light a candle. Do I need a mic? Thank you. Sorry. I thought I was louder than I am. During our meditation, if you feel so led to come up and light a candle for any joys and concerns you may have, we invite you to do that now. Thank you.
band was absolutely, that was a beautiful tune. It's one of my favorites by Carlos.
Can't hear you.
Still can't hear me. It's on. Check, check, check. I guess I just need to be louder then. All right. May these candles, representing the joys and concerns of those that lit them, be lifted up with grace today. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. First of all, I'd like to thank my elves today that helped out with the candles and doing other things. Thank you so much. I'm going to sit for this service because I can't stand up. So it'd be- All right, can you hear me now? Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Well, basically what I start out with when I'm at the Christmas set at Hamilton Place is ho, ho, ho. And what a handsome bunch of boys and girls and so well behaved. I keep hoping that that's what's going to happen as I go through the line. So anyway, I've been doing that from mid-November through the 24th of December for some 13 seasons at Hamilton Place Mall. Some of you knew what was going on during my absence from UCC, but what I'll be mostly talking about today is how this all came to be. How in the world would I start portraying the jolly old elf from the North Pole starting when I was 57 years old? I hope also to help those families with their children getting to that age. Some of you have already gone through it, which can be a difficult time for both parents and children. But first, here's a question for you. How many, by show of hands, have or had the tradition of your children getting photos with Santa during the Christmas season? Oh, okay. Yeah, or maybe even yourselves as children. My younger brother David and I have a photo with Santa after my sister by then had aged out. And my youngest brother was too young to get to visit with Santa. There's actually some photos back there after the service. You can help yourself to just looking at them. I was still a believer at the time. So how did I transition from being too old to believe in Santa, actually portraying Santa? Well, it all began in my mid-20s while attending UTC here in Chattanooga. A fellow student asked if I could substitute for the Santa in front of the Miller Brothers department store up at Highland Plaza in North Chattanooga. It used to be there, it's no longer. But he was sick and unable to continue. Now, she was a part-time photographer for this group taking the pictures. Now, I didn't have a beard, but the Santa that I was going to be subbing for was using a fake beard anyway, frequently used back then. So I had a fun weekend, but I tell you, breathing through a beard that's used by a heavy smoker and someone who also developed a heavy cold had its effects on me that next week. I had a great time. The only visit I remembered of that weekend was a well-lit up couple that wanted me to sit on their laps for their photo. And so I said, sure, this sounds like fun. I mean, after all, this was just something to do to make a little money for a cash-strapped college student like myself. Nothing serious, nothing serious. Also, while working at UTC, I worked some at the Moccasin Bend Psychiatric Hospital in the Winston building. I was asked by the upper administration there if I would don a Santa suit and go visit the patients and residents there at both the Winston building where I worked and also the main building, delivering small presents to the residents. Now for this, I received a nice written commendation of what I had done. Again, just something to do, and besides, I was on the clock at the time. I don't care what I do with that. So, Then, after graduation, while working at the Tennessee Department of Services, a program called Secret Santa was started. And they asked me to be the Santa again. Got my picture made and published in the Times Free Press. So even though there were 3 times I had worn a Santa suit during the mid-'70s, I had no calling at all to take this to another level. It might have been my extra large size during those years that had me typecast for the job, you think? So the Santa calling didn't occur until many years later, and I was in my early 50s. By then I had gone from a strawberry blonde to a salt and pepper-haired man. I was in the habit of starting a beard in the fall and having it during the Christmas time and stuff like that. Sometimes I'd put on a Santa hat during Christmas time season and wear a red shirt, something like that. So I never did keep it longer than March or April because I was afraid that if I kept it that long, it would get miserably hot. But what the problem is you don't grow a beard during the summer, you grow it during the winter so that it doesn't get used to it. But the habit did get me occasional Santa attention from little ones, but not all that much. But in 2003, attending a Christmas party sponsored by the UTC Department of Education with my then wife, Dr. Linda Pellman, who was a professor there, we encountered 2 stair-step girls, probably 4 and 6, maybe 5 and 7, who took to asking Santa questions about the North Pole, the reindeer elves, and Santa workshop. So I had the reindeer names down pretty well because of the well-known tune that starts, "There's Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donder and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all?" So I had that, and I enjoyed that. It was a coup. The two would keep peeking over the table and kept full attention on both of us. And enjoying the conversation, I would ask if they were minding their parents, keeping their rooms cleaned, and so forth. The older one had her doubts about this guy that was with a Santa hat. But the youngest one was pretty sure. She pretty much, she was it. Now, as we left at the end of the party, the girls wished us a fond farewell with, "Good night, Santa. Good night, Mrs. Claus." And I lost it. I said, I got to do something about this. But it wasn't until 2007 before I did do anything about this. And it was partly Nikki Osbeck's fault. Is she here today? Is Nikki here today? No, she didn't. Okay, that's all right. Well, here's what happened. I believe it was in early spring of 2007, over there in the fellowship hall. Nikki came up to me and shared a newspaper clipping about a 2-day Santa workshop in Gwinnett County in Georgia. It was run by a professional Santa, Tim Conahan, also known as the Hollywood Santa because he was living in California, famous for marketing, being in Hollywood parades, portraying Santa around the Hollywood, California area. That must have been an interesting job. He actually got started in Vietnam while serving in the armed forces. He had photos of him with a Santa hat and a shaving cream beard, where he squirted all that stuff on him. So Nikki encouraged me to check this workshop out, so I did. But before that, I had to make some changes. So now it says here that the title of this is Dying to be Santa. It really wasn't dyeing that I was doing, I was bleaching. So no dyeing going on. I was taking away color. Well, at that time, I had a beard, still salt and more pepper. So I visited a nearby cosmetology school. After 3 to 4 weeks of treatments, I transformed from gray to orange to yellow and finally to Santa white. This dramatic change within a few weeks was amazing to see in my own mirror. Now, the Santa workshop was held in a large meeting room at a hotel near Gwinnett Mall. I was just floored to see 140 or so Santas and Mrs. Clauses all dressed up in something red The two-day workshop utilized a workbook called Behind the Red Suit, The Business of Being Santa. And it felt like I was swallowing a fire hydrant of information. But after the two-day workshop was through, I was the proud possessor of a BS, a Bachelor of Science in Santa Clausology. So I was right proud of myself. I began to feel maybe I could actually do this Santa Claus stuff. So I started purchasing accessories for the work. Boots, belt, Santa suit, wire rim glasses, white gloves. I ended up getting a little kid's book that had The Night Before Christmas and funny pictures in it, and I read that to the kids or anytime, but all of the others, some of the miscellaneous items. Now, that first season in 2007 was a spattering of various visits to a school, a couple of businesses, a few home visits, and a weekend replacing the Santa at the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Apparently he couldn't go, he needed me to do that. So the following 2008 season, the Choo Choo asked me back to be their Santa for the full Santa season. I was tickled to death about that. There, something changed. Well, sitting on the sleigh at Santa set in the main lobby of the train station, out of the line comes one of two more stair-step children to the sleigh for her visit. This was the youngest one. So we went through the usual questions and answers. Have you been good, minding your folks, and so on. Then came the question. So, what do you want for Christmas this year? And she said, I don't want anything. You don't? No. Santa, all I want for Christmas is for my big sister to be nice to me. Well, okay. I assured her that Santa would make sure she got something nice this year and see what Santa could do about her dilemma. So she stepped off the sleigh, happy as a clam, rejoining her parents. Then it was the big sister's turn. Usual routine, questions, wanted a dolly, stuff like that. Then I asked her if she knew what her little sister wanted. She said no. I said, your sister didn't want anything for Christmas. Her eyes got wide. And I told her she just wanted her big sister to be nice to her. She kind of ducked her head. I asked her if she could arrange for that to happen going forward. And she kind of said, yeah, she could do that. So where this came from, I have no clue. But it was the first time I felt like I was channeling the big guy. I don't know where I got that stuff. So I told her that right now, they are at different ages. This is a secret about sisters. Interested in different things, sometimes that can cause friction between them. But as they got older, and I'd say it loud enough for the parents to hear, as they got older, as old as mom and dad, and they're going, I'm not old. If they persisted in loving each other, they would develop into absolutely the best of friends. They might contact one another no matter where or when either one might be, just to catch up. And until then, if she would just be patient, their sisterhood would continue to grow. I reminded her that her sister looked up to her and wanted to be like her. And this was a position of responsibility. As she also returned to her sister and parents, I was just floored by what I had said. Like I said, that was the first time I'd ever come to something like that. Now, over the years, I've used this advice in similar circumstances with brothers and or sisters as well, so it would apply to any combination of siblings. Now, by the end of that first season on the sleigh at the Choo Choo, it finally got me to know that, hey, I can do this after all. Now, the following season, 2009, I was contracted by Cherry Hill Photos to travel to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina to be the Santa at the streets of South Point. Hamilton Place is a regional mall. South Point's a super regional mall, so even bigger than Hamilton Place, where I would end up portraying Santa for the next 2 seasons. This area is known internationally as the Research Triangle. And I heard so many different languages. Oh man, Italian, German, Hebrew, Russian, Nigerian, Spanish, French, Greek. I had to ask a lot of people what they were saying. but so many more. And the city itself has so much of a history about it as well. Now, one day, an elderly gentleman, now this is elderly to a 59-year-old, dressed in a suit and tie and vest, all to the nines, and got his photo. I asked him about why he was doing this, and he explained that many years ago he started sending his Santa photos to his mother who lived in New York because he was unable to visit her during the Christmas season. But after her passing, he was now sharing his photos with his children, keeping up with this Christmas tradition. I thought that was pretty cool. But it does bring to mind an unpleasant part of portraying Santa, when children can be hurting, missing deceased grandparents or other family members, divorce, illnesses, things like that. All Santas go through these situations when they hear this, but when confronted with them, we're able to offer condolences and prayers for them and their families. We tell them we're basically a toy maker, but we'll do the best we can to help out. I've had a few myself. At the end of the second season at South Point, the company I was working with contracted me to be the only Santa at Hamilton Place Mall back home. I was really pleasantly surprised because Santa of the mall had been a two Santa thing. One would come in, then they'd leave, and another one would come back the next after that. It seemed to be in order for me to be able to be there at my own hometown, sleeping in my own bed, somebody'd have to die. But the mall was changing their directions with their Santas. One wanted to move to Florida and do Santa, another one was going to Northgate. And with 2 good years under my belt, the position opened up for me where I've been now for 13 seasons. I have so many memorable experiences while serving as a Santa at Hamilton Place Mall. Memories to cherish as long as I have memories at all. There were seasons I was using a large wingback chair and folks would hide behind it for various reasons, including myself. I would come up and kind of look over and look at a little kid that would be screaming her head off if they saw me, and so they'd get their pictures that way. But once a dad who was returning from deployment overseas was hiding behind the chair. His 2 younger sons and his older daughter came in to sit with me. Now, after our photos had been taken and before the staff brought the tablet with the photos on it, his sister turned to me and she was sitting down on a stool and said, "All I want to do is see my daddy." And I said, "Well, we'll see what we can do about that. I never promise anything, no matter what they say." Now, while looking at the photos, which Dad had photobombed, one of the younger kids said, "Hey, that looks like Daddy." His sister said, "That is Daddy," and she jumped up to go find him. At that point, it was just a grand family reunion. There was so many people that were in the crowd that were in on all this. I thanked him for his service to his country and got out of the way since many families and friends were in on the surprise. But a powerful emotion overcame all involved as I watched the family's joyful reunion. Now, another time, a fella came to the set and asked the manager if he could surprise his girlfriend with a marriage proposal. So they came over to me and asked me about it. Oh, I was thrilled. I thought this would be really cool, although I wanted to make sure he was going to get the correct response from her. And he said, no, she'd been hitting around about it for a while anyway. So a week later, after getting his beloved's best friend to get her to come to the mall, wander around a bit, and later say, "Hey, let's get a picture with Santa, it'd be a hoot." Meanwhile, he was hiding behind the chair. All right, so I had the friend over here, the one he was wanting to propose to over here. And so after we were done with the pictures, I looked at the friend and said, "Now I'm going to put my gloved hands over your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and repeat after me, what I wish for Christmas, what I wish for Christmas." And then I turned towards her and said, "And we'll start with you." So having my hands over her eyes, and we got all that, he comes around from behind the chair on one knee, opens a little black box with a ring in it, and as I pull my hands away, she looks down and almost shrieks and goes, "Oh shit, And I began to worry just a little bit, but he proposed, and she said yes, and all was glorious after that. One more photo, and the deed was done. So that's the kind of stuff that I get through. And I could go on for way more than anyone would want to hear, but I wanted to leave you parents, those are still active children, seeing Santa, and maybe they have a young one and an old one. As your children get older into their teen years, getting them to sit for Santa photos with their younger, eager siblings gets more difficult. As Santa, I've tried this tack for attitude adjustment. Once the younger ones have rejoined their parents, you know, they're happy as clams and everything, I speak quietly to the older ones, acknowledging their hesitancy to sit with them and Santa. I sternly advise them not to mess up their younger siblings' Santa enjoyment. I also explain that the reason they're not so happy sitting there is because they're on the wrong Santa level. They look at me and go, wrong Santa level? You know, after a puzzled look, I continue, you know about Mario Brothers. Everybody here knows about Mario Brothers, the video game, you know. Do you want to be on the first level of Mario Brothers the rest of your life? And everybody goes, no. Don't want, well, then you don't want to be on the first level of Santa as well. Well, the next level of Santa is where you are Santa. And that gives a puzzled look too. I said, when I explained to them about anonymous giving, I said, the joy that can be had by doing this. Strangers, schoolmates, neighbors, anyone could receive a gift from Santa. And you can vicariously enjoy those recipients' reactions if you can figure a way you can hide so you can watch them do it. Gifts don't have to be expensive, just what you're able to, you know, it could be like a coat you don't use anymore, you've outgrown, or a pencil for a student who doesn't have one. So how do you think they'll feel when you give them one? And they usually go, most of them, anybody that have a brain, well, yeah, they feel good. So, well, how do you feel knowing that you're the source of this gift to them? And they usually say, yeah, I feel pretty good too. So pretty good? No? Said, well, just never let them know the present came from you. That was the important part. Don't let them know. Now, if they still don't get it then, I ask them, now, when you were younger, didn't you receive gifts from Santa Claus? Why did those givers want to do that? What was in it for them? We're talking about parents here. That usually opens some eyes. Why did they do that for me when I was a child? So then I tell them their homework for the next year would be to give at least one Santa gift, nothing expensive, and observe their own reaction. Because I said, you guys will be here again next year for your other little brothers or sisters. So I'll ask you what happened, what you did. If they found that a pleasant experience, I said, do it again, much as you can do. My time as Santa has been such an eye-opening experience, even after 18 years. I don't know how much longer I'll be so blessed to be able to portray Santa, but it has been a wild ride of great pleasure for my heart. I've placed a couple of photos on the round table over in the corner if you care to look at that, but anyone just could do that, and I'd like to thank you so much for your kind attention today. Let's see. Thank you. So I think we have an offertory. No, social justice moment. We have a social justice moment. I got to give him a microphone.
Morning. This is my last discussion with you for this year about food insecurity, and the last for the month too. Oh, you're going to hold it? Okay. When I'm thinking about a subject, my first reaction is to go find a book about it. I know today I should go find a YouTube video, but my reaction is to find a book. So I found a book, and it was called Food Insecurity and Food Sovereignty Among America's Poor. This was a really heavy book. It was written by a bunch of academics, and a lot of times I had to parse the sentence before I could even figure out what they were talking about. But it had a chapter in it called Community Leadership and Participation to Increase Food Access and Quality. Whew, there's a mouthful. And they talked about food sovereignty. And food sovereignty is an approach gaining recognition throughout North America. There's a city near us, Asheville, that is working a lot to do this. And one of the things they do is they have a group called Bountiful Cities. And Bountiful Cities provides, well, their vision is abundance and food sovereign communities. Well, what the heck is that? They work with communities to grow food from seed, to train and employ community members to provide urban agricultural expertise to paid clients, and to be advocates for accessible, healthy food systems. Now there's a phrase, accessible, healthy food systems. It's easy for me. I just go to, I want to say Safeway, Publix. I'm from the West where Safeway is the store. And to go to Publix or Whole Foods, that's everywhere. And I could get healthy food, no problem. I have the means to buy it, no problem. But what about those who don't have access so easily to those food systems? What can we do? What can I do? This book talked about what an organization or an institution can do, and the one line that stuck out to me was pay equally across racial, ethnic, gender, and class lines, as well as across job descriptions. Just think how the world would be different if we did that. And for policymakers to adopt policies that support urban agriculture, living wage, and community development that does not displace residents. And when I read that, I thought about what's going on South Side right now with the proposal of a new ballpark. How many people are going to get displaced out of that area that are residents there now? For individuals, what could you do? You ready? Plant a garden at home. Sounds pretty easy. Work in a community garden and in relationship with others. And one of the things you could do if you planted a garden at home is to share that food with the food bank. They are happy to distribute it. If you were here last week, you heard about a summer talk about how if you went to the distribution center that they operate, you can get fresh fruits and vegetables as well as canned goods and things like that. So it is a place where you can do something and it will make a difference for someone. And the other thing I talked about last week that I think is important is you can make a difference for someone. It only has to be one person that you make a difference for, and you have made a difference. And another thing you can do is you can support businesses and policies that pay a living wage, source local foods, and limit waste. So think about how you might do that too. Are there community gardens around us here in Chattanooga? Well, yeah, there's one just down the street, actually. It's called Ridgedale Community Garden. It's on Main Street. A little farther away, there's Crabtree Farms, and we've had people from Crabtree Farms here before talking to us about the work that they do. They provide produce to farmers markets. They also provide 30 beds for people to come in and grow vegetables for themselves. Community gardens may be a part of the solution, but it's not the whole solution to food sovereignty. So what am I comfortable with? Well, I play with my hobbies. I'm retired. I camp. I help people with their income taxes as part of AARP tax aid. And I help here, when I'm not talking up here, back there in the AV booth. Gardening, not so much. Why is that? Well, I have a wife who's a really good gardener, and I'm kind of the ditch digger, the laborer. But I'm going to work on that, and maybe I can put my money where my mouth is. I don't have answers. Maybe we can figure out what we can do together. And thank you for your food donations to the food bank. Did you look out there at how much stuff is there? I could not believe it. Last week, I filled up the trunk of my car with food that is already here. This week, I hope I can get all that's there into my car. There is a lot of food there. I want to thank you for your generous donations. It's a little step, but if you help one person, maybe they'll help someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Okay, can you hear me? Awesome. Okay, so we are going to be collecting our offertory. The offertory does so much for our community that you may not even realize inside our church and outside. For instance, the class that gave you Rich's wonderful sermon, as well as Macy's and mine, all came from one class, and your donations to the church help fund those classes, like the shared pulpit. And you never know what will come from those classes. Macy and I are joining together to have a spinoff, which is going to be more community outreach. We are going to be bringing an Eating Disorders Anonymous group to our church, to our community. It will be not only the only one in Chattanooga, it'll be the only second one in our state. So we are going to be combining our efforts together to create recovery that is accessible to all people. So we are super excited about that. So please keep that in mind as you give, and give what you can. If you are new here, we ask that you maybe just let the plate pass you by, unless you really feel like you would like to contribute. You can also, in a minute, there'll be a slide that'll show you a website link that you can donate digital cash to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Camille. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Boy, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let go. So just call on me,
Brother, when you need a hand, we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Boy, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. On me, brother, when you need
is a load you have to bear that you can carry. I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. 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 Call me.
How about this wonderful offering of music we've gotten today? I invite you to respond with our offertory response. We give these gifts free to Okay, we get another treat with a closing song.
Well, and everybody join in. You might have heard this song before. That's fine, that's fine. Recommend everybody stand up so you can wave along. Hold a hand. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Gracias.
I'm not going to do so what. I'm going to give you guys a chance to talk back at me. So if you have a question or anything at all like that, or we'll call it a day and say we've done a pretty good job today all together. Yes.
I want to thank you, Santa Rick. You have done all 26 of my foster children, to include the last one that I adopted. And you did, the day after he was adopted, we took a picture with you the last time, and he was holding a sign that said, "Thank you, Santa,
I
for
remember
letting me
that.
be adopted."
I
Because
remember.
that's all he ever asked for from Santa was to be adopted.
And, oh, gosh, yeah. That's amazing. That's
My
amazing.
brat. I don't know if he says happy about being adopted, but he's my brat.
Yeah, no, you can't take responsibility for that. Once you've given a gift, you're done with it. That's right. Anybody else? Oh, Nikki, you were here. I didn't see you. Yeah. I didn't see you today. Didn't raise your hand.
Well, I did, but Rich, you did Santa pictures for some of our kids here.
We did that for a time. And that's true. And dogs, cats, stuff like that. And speaking of pets and stuff, we had pet day every Monday this year, all day long. And I thought it was going to kill me, you know, big dogs grabbing me and pulling my arms out. But I had a what kind of a lizard? It was a brown something or other. It was about this long. Beautiful animal, but it was, you know, I've had a blonde python, I think they call it. That was interesting. A miniature Vietnamese pig sat right next to me. They have very stiff hair. Very interesting. Anybody else? That's good. Well, let's all go out there and be nice to people and do the things we need to do. Oh, we have announcements today. Yes, all right, sorry. Then we'll go out there and do that. So, just a few minutes of an announcement.
Before we do announcements, let's extinguish our chalice. Before y'all get ahead of us, huh? I know that's what y'all come here for, is the announcements. Okay, so the words to extinguish our chalice are on the screen. Thank y'all so much. Now, announcements.
So it's about a month from now, February 24th, 6:30 p.m., and people are surging through those doors ready for an evening in the vineyard, thus the apparel. They come in and they smell that Italian-inspired gourmet dinner. They see the festive decorations, they hear the sound of upcoming music, and they feel the excitement of some spirited bidding. This is an event you don't want to miss. Yes, it's a fundraiser, but it's also a community builder, and it's going to be a really fun time. And I know there's lots of questions. I have lots of answers. We don't have lots of time. So if you want answers, all you have to do is go to uucc.org/auction or visit us at the table in the social hall after the service. There are lots of information to give you, but there's really just two things that I want to highlight. First is we need your donations now. The deadline's officially February 8th, but if you have any pity for me at all, I encourage you to please get your donations in as soon as possible. That will greatly help. If you think you don't have anything to donate, you are wrong. I guarantee that everybody has something, probably multiple things, that you could give that would earn some good money for this community. We have ideas, examples, suggestions, and a donation form at uucc.org/auction or at the table in the social hall after the service. Second thing is buy your tickets. $15 advance donation gets you the aforementioned delicious meal and desserts. It gives you access to some wonderful music and entertainment, and to a Italian-inspired cash bar, and door prizes, and a raffle, and of course the spirited bidding in both silent and live auction. You can buy tickets at uucc.org/auction or at the table in the social hall. So that's all I can hit on here. Lots of other questions. Online, there's even a frequently asked questions page that gives you all the information you need about how it's all going to work. You can also see samples of some of the items that we have already collected. And you'll learn about the digital bidding platform. But like I said, we have answers. The frequently asked questions page is at uucc.org/auction or see you there.
Real quickly, I'm not going to go through the spiel, but the bus is starting to fill up for Advocacy Day for gun safety in our state, which is February 27th. And the church is a member of over 40 groups across the state, a coalition for guns, Tennesseans for gun safety. So look in the newsletter this coming week. There will be a link there for you to register. Thank you.
Hello, I have two things. One is if you have ever wanted to join the UUC choir and you have not joined it, this is the time to join. We are starting a new song that we will be starting to learn this next Sunday. So, yay. And if you want to join, give me your email address. I have recordings of whatever part you sang so you can start to learn it. I have sheet music here. And our practices are at 9:15 Sunday mornings, 3 Sundays every month. The 4th Sunday is the week I am off, which this was the result of that. So, and then the 5th Sunday we'll be practicing as well. And then number 2, some of you may have seen the gorgeous little mini well and fence out there on the table that was put together by Jen. And it is a little celebration for the Pagan Festival of Imbolc. I just wanted to bring awareness to that today. It's also called St. Bridget's Day. It is a Gaelic traditional festival, and it marks the beginning of spring. So it's kind of the midwinter celebration. It's been dark, and the light is just starting to come. So if you're interested, read about it, put a penny in the well. That's all.
Anybody else? One more.
How did you like this contemporary music Sunday? So this contemporary music Sunday is going to happen now, probably each 4th Sunday. It's the brainchild of John Mowbray. He brought us all together. We have Farron Cloyd on piano, John Mowbray on guitar, Roger Davis on the drums, John Littlefield on the bass, Trish Boshiers on the guitar, Lynn Boshiers on lead vocals. If you all thought you are a musician and you really want to be up here and you want to try it out, please see John. We definitely want to have more of you up here. And I forgot one. Our own Rich Dwyer on the harp. So, is that it? Anything else?
Yeah, we're just going to do a postlude, but
Good. So with that, this concludes the service, and continue your service to this community.
very much. Thank you very much.